In modern times, it's really easy for us to get wrapped up in the humdrum of everyday life. We keep thinking that life is a sprint and we gotta rush to the next line and then rush to the next line and then rush to the next line again. And life isn't a sprint. Life is a marathon. Let me explain. I've lived in Florida my whole life and I'm 44 and I haven't been, silent about that on here. And I'm struggling. Every day I struggle. I'm a single dad. I've got 3 kids. I have so little time to actually run my business, and I can't find other mechanics to work for me because someone screws something up and now you're at a $10,000 loss and you just hired somebody and spent a bunch of money training them, and then they go out and they blow a motor up and now you've got nothing and you got to spend a bunch of money you don't have. And I can't afford that. So I keep my business small. It's easy to forget when you're on social media or checking over your friends' Facebook pages or watching what the whatever people are doing on a daily basis on X or anything else. It's easy to get caught up in that and think about your life as being more of a sprint. You want to rush to the finish line and get to that vacation, and you want to rush to get that new car, and you want to rush to get that new cell phone and that new game system and so on and so forth. But life isn't a sprint. It's a marathon. You see, for those of us who plan on being here a long time, and I'm hoping that's you, we need to pace ourselves. When you run a marathon, you don't give all of your energy all at one exact time. And I'm not saying don't put your energy into your life. I'm not saying don't put energy into making your life better and into moving forward and transitioning to a better world and a better life. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you need to enjoy the journey because it's the stops along the way that really matter. When we're rushing through life and we refuse to stop at the small things, to smell the flowers, and I know this is kind of cliche, but the concept of to smell the flowers, to listen to your toddler ramble on in some type of gobbledygook about something that you can't understand because they're a toddler and they don't speak true English or whatever language you speak. They're just sitting there rambling off some syllables, for lack of a better way to put it. And that's part of the journey, is stopping along the way. If you take a 2-year journey across the mountains, it's not about getting to the end of the journey. You don't want to get back home. That's not why you're on the 2-year journey. You're on the 2-year journey for the experiences, for the stops along the way. If you travel around the United States and you visit all of the state parks, the end of the journey is when you get home. And that's really not what it's all about. It's about those stops along the way. And that's a marathon, not a sprint. Now, sometimes in life, you're going to want to sprint from one place to another. Like I'm doing my 30 and 30 sprint with my YouTube channel right now. Sometimes in life we need a sprint, and it's okay to sprint once in a while, but it's important to remember that the marathon of life is long. It's long and it's slow if we're lucky. So don't plan everything around tomorrow, plan everything around your future, your longer term future. Try to keep in mind the fact that if you work hard today to make yourself better in 10 years, then in 10 years, you'll be better off than you would have been if you hadn't done it. I don't know how else to explain this. The little things along the way are really what matter. You have the graduation of your children, maybe your graduation, when you meet your first love, when you get married, when you have your first child, your first car, the first time you get a place of your own, whether it be an apartment, a condo, or a home. There's just so many different things that are stops along the way that we need to stop and learn to enjoy. We always rush from one thing to the next, trying to get a better following on social media, trying to make more money, make more of our friends want to be us, try to show people the best part of us. When you look on places like Facebook and YouTube even, and then you go on places like Twitter and Instagram and so on and so forth, and you look at people that and they're living these lavish lifestyles and they're going on these vacations and they have this wonderful life with their significant other or whatever it may be, most of the time those are fallacies. They're people who are trying to portray something to you that's not even real. I was married and I became a single dad because my ex decided that she just didn't want the relationship anymore and she was going to try something different. And there's nothing wrong with that. I have no hard feelings toward her and I'm not trying to say anything bad about her in any way, shape, or form. But that left me on my original journey with no longer a destination, and I was stuck at the stop that I was at. So I had to sit down and I had to start thinking about my journey and figuring out where I wanted to go and where I wanted it to be, because it wasn't a sprint and I wasn't trying to sprint to the end. The end of life is not something to rush. Have you ever seen the movie Click? If you haven't seen the movie Click, you should think about watching the movie Click. It's got Adam Sandler in it, and he's given a remote control that allows him to fast forward and pause his life. Christopher Walken plays like a devil character, maybe an angel character. I don't know what you'd have to watch the movie to decide for yourself. But Christopher Walken plays somebody in the back of Bed Bath & Beyond, and Adam Sandler happens to stumble in there. And when he stumbles in there, Christopher Walken's character tells him, hey, look, I've got this thing. It's great. You can pause and you can fast forward and you can get more work done and skip all the stuff you don't want to be a part of. Well, that's the sprint part. We don't want to sprint. And if you watch the movie, you'll see that really what happens is he wastes his entire life rushing to the next part of it. And that's what we as Americans and people of the world have been doing, because social media, the automatic dopamine rushes of the internet, constant dopamine drips from video games and from scrolling and from swiping on, Tinder and places like that. And basically, we have trained ourselves to sprint to the next level. But we need to slow down and try to enjoy the journey a little bit more. I don't know what this video was supposed to do today. I just wanted to talk to you guys about how life is, it's a marathon and it's not a sprint. And it's about the journey, but it's also about the destination. I have a tattoo on one of my arms, and it says, today we lay the foundation for the future tomorrow. And I know I didn't have to say tomorrow at the end, blah, blah, blah. And to me, I got that tattoo as my very first tattoo. And the reason why I got it was because I wanted to remember that life is a marathon and not a sprint. And every day, I'm working today to better tomorrow. And that's what you should be doing too. Make sure you're working today to better tomorrow. And if we all work today to better tomorrow, then our tomorrow will be better for everybody. Wow, this sounds like a real mouthful of gobbledygook, doesn't it? Sometimes I wonder if when I'm making these videos for you guys, if they connect at all. And I feel like they'll connect with the right people. But this one, let me level with you here. People rush in life. They try to get things done so quickly. They try to worry about their image. They try to worry about what other people think of them. And they try to worry about instant gratification. That's not what life is. Life is long, I'm 44 and I'm not even that old, but I have seen so many people lose their life. And that makes me remember that life it's fleeting. None of us knows when our day will come. And that's really sad. I mean, I don't know how to get this one across. I'm usually not so out of words, but apparently today I am. So treat your life like a marathon and not a sprint, because it's a journey, and the journey's all about the stops. I think I'm going to cut this one short today. This is video number 28 in my 30 of 30 series, and I'm not really sure what I think about it, but we'll see what you guys think about it. It'll probably get like 2 views, and it'll have a watch time of like 12 seconds, and nobody will ever even see this part. I could probably like give you the plans for some type of buried treasure at this point in the video, and likely nobody will ever see it, because this video is probably going to be a very slow-paced video. That's the official gobbledygook for today. I really appreciate you guys coming by. Like and subscribe, comment down below, share, do all that stuff. And don't forget to go out and learn something, do something, and teach something. Ta-ta for now.